brought to you by Patriot Mobile, the phone service of America's Freedom Tribute. Use code AFT for your first month free. Alcohol and drug abuse among veterans is a significant public health concern, often linked to the unique challenges faced during and after military service. Many veterans experience conditions such as post-traumatic stress, depression, or chronic pain, which can increase the risk of substance misuse as a way to cope. The transition from military to civilian life can also bring feelings of isolation, loss of identity, or difficulty adjusting, further contributing to the unhealthy behaviors in some cases. The culture of resilience in the military may discourage seeking help, allowing substance use problems to worsen over time. Addressing alcohol and drug abuse in veterans requires a comprehensive approach that includes mental health support, accessible treatment programs, and community awareness to reduce stigma and encourage early intervention. Welcome back. I'm Dorina Federici, and this is Let's Talk About Veterans, where their stories matter. And today we're going to be discussing exactly that. So welcome today's guest, Tom, a Vietnam vet. And welcome, Tom. I'm so happy that you're here. And if you can tell us a little bit about your military background to start off with.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I really appreciate that a great deal. My name is Tom, and I am an alcoholic and a drug abuser. I started using alcohol and drugs before I got into service. When I went into the service, I'll begin my service career. I got drafted in August of 2000. When did I get drafted? 1967.
Yes.
August. I was 3 weeks out of high school.
Wow.
And I got drafted. And I was born and raised in Charter Oak Terrace in Hartford, which we were a very poor family. My dad died when I was 8 months old.
Wow.
We have 5 children, and it was a tough upbringing. But we made it. Mom made us go to church, and we were all working by the time we were 11 years old. My brother and I were mowing lawns, delivering the newspapers, and anything else we could do to earn money for the house.
Right.
My sister did sewing, believe it or not.
Right.
And but we all contributed to the house. So I got out of high school, and I went to Fort Dingaling in New York. Now that's Fort Dix, for those of you. You knew that?
I knew it.
So that's where I went to basic training. And that's where I learned the first piece of control they have over you is you get issued one hat. And that's because if they take that hat away from you, any officer that spots you without a hat, they know somebody's looking for you.
Oh, my God.
A unique way of control.
Right.
But that was all right. Basic training wasn't that hard for me. I was really athletic anyways. But nonetheless, it was a large group of people from different places in the United States, all gathered going through the same thing. Bald heads, getting up in the middle of the night and starting your day. And at the night, you had to clean your weapon, shine your shoes, clean the whole house up, the barracks that we were in. And, but that was your sleep time, so you had to sacrifice a lot and do chores. I was in charge of buffing the floors.
Wow.
And I remember one thing, I never used a buffer before. That's a tough thing to use. And I went too far and unplugged it. So I went back, now this is the middle of the night, I'm buffing. And I plugged it in, but I never turned it off. And that thing swirled around, I was hitting doors, banging on the wall. I woke up everybody on the floor.
That's too funny.
So that was pretty unique.
Yeah.
I laughed about it, but I made a lot of people angry. But anyways, basic training was kind of tough for a lot of people because the discipline that thrust upon you that we never had before nor experienced. So there was an adjustment period, but they had some pretty big, pretty strong, pretty demanding drill sergeants that, you just wasn't the type of guy you wanted to argue with.
Right.
That's the way it was. And it's always the same routine. Got to run a mile before breakfast. Got to pass inspection. Got to do a little bit of exercise. And then you have to do chin-ups. And then you can go in and eat. If you don't complete the chin-ups, you can't go in. They're going to make you wait till everybody goes. That's 1,000 guys.
Wow.
Because there was a whole barracks in this one big, I don't know, maybe 10 buildings of people. So you want to do your exercises. And then you can eat. Eat as much as you want. That was a good thing.
Yeah, huh?
But you only had 10 minutes to do it.
How much can you eat in 10?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So consequently, a lot of people lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And then you have your what we call bolos. That's a person who just couldn't adapt physically to anything. And then they got to go see the medics and doctors and stuff to see if they a candidate to remain in the service, or should they discharge them, or can they find them a job with a different type of training schedule so they could fit in. They just want to fire you. They
Right.
needed people.
Yeah.
So there was that process. Me, I got in a lot of trouble. I mean, they put me on KP. I tried to sneak out of KP, and that's where I learned what the hat was about. Because they
took your hat
our
away.
hats, yeah.
There you go.
And I'm out wandering around like a fool. And of course, they knew they were looking for me. All the officers knew they were looking for me. Somebody.
Yeah.
And I got found out pretty quick.
There you go.
So the next 4 or 5 days, I'm on KP every day, missing training.
Oh.
So that means I had to make those days up.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, I had to make them up. But I made it through. And basic training is 2 months. Got through it. That's when you get your first pass. Mm-hmm. You can go home. So there was a lot of people from Connecticut. So I hitched a ride. I didn't have a car, but I hitched a ride. And went home, saw my mother and my brothers and everybody. And you're going on, I don't know, say like 4-day pass or something. Yeah. Then you got to come back, do what you call advanced infantry training, which is totally different, but all the exercises are there and everything. That never changes. But anyway, I got through that. So I got my basic training, my AIT, advanced infantry training, done. So now everybody, when they finished all that, they get their port of duty. Where are you going? So I got infantry. So I got sent to Baumholder, Germany. You ever hear of Baumholder, Germany?
No.
Yeah, nobody has.
No.
I mean, it's a little corner of Germany that, God knows what's there, but, the rest of the world didn't. But it was very cold.
Yeah.
Really cold. And I stayed there. See, I left the United States Christmas Eve.
Wow. That's hard.
Huh?
That's hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. One of the first things that you got to overcome is you got to watch that attachment at home, because it'll drive you nuts. You get very angry very quickly. And you don't want to get angry at the officers, because they own you.
Yeah.
So anyways, I went to Baumholder. I stayed there till March.
Wow.
Now, because of my MOS, which is Military Occupation Service, you're familiar with that, I was a 11B and a 11C. B, foot soldier combat. C is mortars combat. And so I went into mortars. And I stayed there till, I think it was March 22nd. And then back home, visit the family for a week, and then off to Fort Lewis. And so I did all that. Meanwhile, I'm drinking. I'm drinking a lot. When I landed in Fort Lewis, I went out to the football field because I was supposed to leave the next day, bought a 6-pack and a half a pint of Seagram 7.
Wow. Yeah.
So I was out there, and on the other end of the field was another guy. So I went and joined him, and I shared with him what I had. He was from East Hartford. Here I am, Fort Lewis, Washington State, and I meet a kid from East Hartford.
Wow.
So we made friends there, and then we all shipped off. We never saw each other again.
Wow.
But all during Vietnam is drinking and pop.
Yeah.
So No hard liquor out in Vietnam. There's just you don't carry. Try not to carry glass or bottles,
Right.
anything that could break and injure you. So it was mostly beer. Ham's beer, I remember it was.
Ham's beer.
We always had a lot of that. So when they say that backpack was heavy, filled with things you need, not always. So there was, we run out of beer a lot, and it's always warm. So I continued drinking all through that. And then when I went on R&R, after 10 months, I got to go, I went to Taiwan, Taipei, and I went with one of my buddies, and we had a guy from Michigan. So, turned out to be a fantastic, big-time lawyer in Michigan. And he did not want to go to officer candidate school.
No.
So he just did what he had to do. And I was also there with a kid named Mark. He was a drinker too. He's a graduate of Tufts,
Oh,
majored in English.
wow.
He would use language that the officers had no clue what he's talking about. I mean, he was a source of
Yeah.
a lot of comedy. Handlebar mustaches, because there's no
Really? Yeah.
restriction on stuff like that. But we're all drinking, every one of us, or smoking. Cigarettes, everybody smoked.
Right.
Pot, everybody smoked. Because it was free.
Mm-hmm.
And so I drank the whole time. So I never had to stop the habit. I always did my job, though. I became platoon sergeant at 20 years old.
Wow.
I was in charge of 44 guys. Can you believe that?
It's amazing. Yeah.
Because I knew all the weapons. I knew how to read a map. I knew how to call in artillery and stuff like that. I paid attention. I got lucky, I think. But I didn't know anything about leadership, and here I am drinking. So, anyways, I get through that. I come home, and I had no problem coming in from the airport, with all the protesters and stuff like that. My family was a construction family. They were all there, make sure we got home, no problem.
Yeah.
And it was not a problem. So I came home, I was really happy, and I got an early out. When I left Vietnam, if you have less than 180 days left in the service, you can get an early out.
Oh,
So I got lucky in that respect. So now I'm out of the service. What am I going to do now? I don't know. I mean, I barely got out of high school to learn a career.
yeah.
Fortunately, my uncle owned Newington Electric.
Oh, wow.
The very next week, I was working for him.
And it's still there, Newington Electric.
Oh, yeah, the son runs it now.
Yeah.
Very good. Son and I are pretty close. But it gave my break into electrical. I've always studied electrical. In high school, I was in electronics and blah, blah, blah. So I had a flavor for it. But I didn't want to hang out. I mean, I just wasn't into hanging out the bars and doing all that
Right.
nonsense. So I took him up on the job. I did.
Yeah.
I eventually became a master electrician.
Wow.
I owned my own company and had a lot of people working for me. Made a ton of dough. And but that alcohol was a major problem.
Yeah.
Because I was doing, now I can afford it as much as I want, whenever I wanted,
And whatever you
and
want.
whatever I wanted.
Right.
And that was that haunted me. Let's see, finally got sober in September 4th, 2008.
Wow.
So I got discharged from the service in '69. And had a little career going there with the booze. Love affair, they call it. Married a wonderful woman from New York. Met her at Cape Cod on Commercial Street. She was at a light. She had a foot-long hot dog. I asked her if she would buy me one because I had the M&Ms, and she did.
There you go.
So we spent the weekend together, and she was with her girlfriends and stuff, and I was with my buddies. And but we kept together for 3 years. I'd go there, she'd come here, or we'd go on vacation or something for 3 years.
Wow.
One day, I called her up, and I asked her to marry me over the phone. And you know what her response was? If I pull up in front of your house in 3 days, the answer is yes. So I said, that's good enough. We hung up. I went down to the package store. I bought enough booze to last 3 days. I mean, I was drinking gin and all like crazy. But for 3 days, I was out of it. I didn't leave the house for nothing. I don't want to miss, you know. 3 days later, she showed up.
Wow.
And we got married.
There you go.
We had 2 wonderful daughters,
Nice.
and we have some wonderful grandchildren. But after around 17, 18 years, she had enough. Got to go.
Yeah.
So we got divorced. But we made a promise that we are not going to involve the kids. We're just going to explain to the kids that 2 people can fall out of love, but still love you.
That's right.
And that's the message they got across. So we're good friends now.
That's good.
She keeps me in touch when all the Yukon games are on and stuff like that. And matter of fact, I owe her a dinner. I got to take her out to dinner. But we ended up good friends. And I'm glad that way. Very happy about that. But I was drinking like crazy.
What made you decide to finally go to?
A very close
Yeah.
friend of mine, another electrician, said, come on, we're going golfing. That's okay. So we hopped in a car and we're heading to New Haven. I said, where are we going golfing? She said, we're going to golf at Yale's golf course. I know some people there, they're going to let us out. Well, that wasn't the case. He had already made plans with the VA up there in West Haven that he's going to drop me off and I need help. And that's what happened. That's how I got in it. But prior to that, I skipped over. Eddie, who took over the Newington Electric from his father, got me into AA. But I wasn't going. I didn't buy it yet. And but he stayed with it. We're still good friends today. Very good friends. But with that kind of backing, I couldn't fight it. So I went in and I went into lockdown. You can't do nothing. Take your shoelaces, take your belts, you know, nothing you can do harm yourself with. And the room was freezing.
Really?
A lot of ice cream, plenty of vegetables and stuff like that. And then when I got done with that, that was on the first floor. Now on the 7th floor there, they have a detox center where you go to classes, you learn about AA, and you learn about life and alcoholism for 30 days. But before I could get there, there were no rooms there. There wasn't room for another person. And there wasn't any more room in the lockdown facility.
Oh,
I went to a homeless shelter.
no.
What am I doing in a homeless shelter? I mean, those are not nice places, let me tell you.
Did they put you there, or you went there on your own?
Oh no, they put me
They
there.
put you there.
They dropped me off at the door, told them who I was, because the VA had rooms, had beds set aside just for the
Just
VA,
for that.
and they still do. But that was not a nice place. But anyways, they found a bed for me, so I went over to the 7th floor. Beautiful room. 7th floor, straight view, straight out to the ocean.
Yeah.
I never saw thunderstorms on an ocean like that. Lightning and stuff, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And my bed was right on the window. I mean, it was gorgeous. But you had to go to classes all day long, which I did. But I'm starting to buy into the system now. It's starting to make sense because you can't drink and, you know, you're still going through your dry out period. You do that
Right.
for, some people think they're cured in 6 months, but not true. You know, it takes years. You know, I've been clean now for 18 years.
Good.
But I did my stint there, and then after you finish your days there, and doctors have decided that you can go somewhere within the VA system. So a bed in Rocky Hill at the facility
Right.
there on West Street,
Right.
they had a bed there for me. So I went there. Another great move that happened. I lived there for 11 years.
Did you really?
I'm not kidding you. But while there, I'm staying sober. I got very involved with my sobriety, the classes, the groups, and stuff like that. I became the head janitor of the whole facility. And I was proud of that.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of sending, if a vacuum was broken, you don't go buy a new one. Give it to me.
And you fixed
I'll
it.
fix it. Because I knew appliances
Right.
and stuff. So they gave me a little room down in the basement, had that, had some tools. So I used to fix them, you know, and a lot of times all it was an elastic band.
Right.
So,
That
you know, I
needs
got a
it.
requisition elastic band. So I called my family up, give me some spending money so I can go out. I don't want to have to do all this nonsense here. So, and plus some of the instructors there, BA employees, counselors, they give me a couple of bucks. If I need a small elastic band or a couple of screws or something, they give me the money, I go buy it. And that was a great job. And I'm still going to classes every day. And while I was living there, and I got there in, around 2008, stayed there, like I said, 11 years. I went on to become wing monitor. That's the person that's in charge of the whole building. And there's two of us that were in charge of this building because there's, I don't know, like 80 people there living in that building. So we took turns, you know, tell them what to do, make sure they're not drinking and stuff like that, and keeping the place up. And if the wing monitor didn't sign your pass, you couldn't go away that weekend. So there's a little power there, where, you know, hey, look, you don't want to sweep before, don't.
Right.
But I'm not signing your pass. And you know, they got the picture real quick.
Right.
So I did that. I eventually got transferred out of wing monitor out of the special building I was in for alcoholism. I went down into the general population. When I was there, first got there, there was a little over 700 veterans living there.
Wow.
And believe it, they transferred me down there, and I became wing monitor down there. And I liked it because I liked the responsibility,
Right.
and it
Of
gave
doing
me
it.
something to do all the time.
Yep.
Then I became the president of the Veterans Council while there. So now we got everybody there. And the hardest part about that is I'm an organizer. I mean, I've been in, you know, I was president of our Lions Club in
Right.
South Windsor where I was living. And I belong to all organizations, Rotary, everything, church council, everything. So I know about Robert's Rules of Order and stuff like that. So I'm introducing these drunks and wild people. And they really weren't wild, but they never knew this. They never exposed it. They're used to yelling, standing up every time they want. But I was pretty strict about what Robert's Rules was. And I wrote them down, and I had them
So they knew
printed
it.
up. I made a booklet, and everybody got one, how you were expected to act in a meeting. Old business, right down the line. And then I appointed my cabinet. Everybody had a job description on what they were supposed to do. And one of the biggest complaints they had, the council, said, we have no money. What's the purpose of having a council? What, just to complain all the time? Because that's what they used to do. So I tried to revert that. So I said, well, let's figure out a way to make some money for ourselves. And of course, the VA is going to be in control of it. Nobody had an idea, but I did. And I don't mean to take credit for all this nonsense, but I called Coke and I called Pepsi, the distributors, and asked them if they would be kind enough to drop off. They donated soda to us, but I asked them if they would drop off all their dented cans that they were going to destroy and get rid of. And they did. And I made a deal with the head chef at the West Street, Rocky Hill, if he'd give us a room with running water so we could empty all the sodas out, drain them, and then turn them in for the nickel.
There you go.
Well, we raised $3,000 doing that.
Wow.
And, you know, I organized it, all the little committees,
Right.
who's in charge of what and whatnot. All of a sudden, we got $3,000.
Wow.
So I told him, if you use your brain, you can do it.
That's right.
You got to be sober, though.
Yeah.
So that was that.
Is this how you started getting involved to help other veterans?
That's it. I've always helped people my whole life. I mean, that
Yeah.
just kind of extenuated on it. But that's how I chose to try to make something happen there.
Yeah.
Because in 2017, I got a lovely home. You know where I live. Really nice. I like it. But now I go out on speaking engagements. This is the first time I'm doing for Channel 14, but I've done it
Right.
for other places.
Right.
But I had severe drug and alcohol problem because I went to besides getting medication from the VA, I made a lot of money. I'm going to 3 psychiatrists every month plus the VA. Now the VA was providing me with Klonopin because my
Yeah.
nerves were shot. And every one of those druggists, not druggists, they weren't druggists.
Yeah.
The psychiatrist provided me 100 a month.
Wow.
So I got 300 there plus whatever I was getting. That's a lot of drugs. So I had a severe problem. But eating properly, following AA, and what I was learning at the VA, kind of come out okay.
You did?
You know, I feel good now. I'm 79 now. You see, I got arthritis and everything.
Yeah.
This is my first year. Last year was my first year not being able to play 18 holes of golf. And I'm
Wow.
79 now.
That's right.
But I still go out. And if I'm in a lot of pain, I just skip a couple of holes until I'm okay. And then I'll get off the cart. I take a cart and I don't walk.
Right.
And I hit. But my nephew, who's a Navy veteran, is taking it up. So I'm showing him how to
do it.
golf.
That's
So
nice.
and he likes it.
Yeah.
So it's a great way for him and I to bond. And he's got a new kidney, so he has to be careful. But we've strengthened our relationship a great deal.
That's good.
So and I guide him on some of life's experiences because he really needs something. You know, he's 53 years old, but he has the experience of maybe a 21 or something like
Yeah.
that. But he's coming along real good. Been working with him for a couple of years now. Coming along
That'll
great.
be great. Yeah. And you know what's really great is that we are going to have Tom back again. I'm telling them that you're going to come back because you have a lot of stories still to tell us.
Oh yeah, I know. I
It's,
get worried. I get off on my
He's
tangents.
no, you did great. Are you kidding? I loved it. But we're going to have a lot more podcasts with Tom. He's going to tell us more about the combat, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I just also want to say is that if anybody needs any kind of help, any veteran needs any kind of help, you can always email me, and I will go ahead and get a hold of Tom. He will guide me on how to guide you of where to go. So that is dfederici.aft@gmail.com. And again, we're going to be talking to Tom again. So if there's any kind of questions you want to bring up to Tom, go ahead and email that too. So when Tom is here, he'll have the questions in his hands, and we can go over that. I would love to see more interaction with that.
I
And-
did while I was in Rocky Hill, living at that place. I did go to school, and I got certified as a recovery support specialist.
Fantastic.
So that's where you learn about handicap. People want to move into a house. What are the handicap rules? You got to stay sober. How to run finances, very basic and stuff like that.
Right.
So I got that degree, and that's what I got really interested. Maybe I'm going to take this a little more serious, and go out there because I got the time. So I want to help. I choose veterans because it's near and dear to my heart.
Absolutely. And you'll understand what they're going through because
Right.
you've been there.
Yeah,
So
been there, done that.
exactly. So again, if you have any kind of questions you want to bring up to Tom, you can go ahead and email me. Again, we're going to have it you'll see it on the podcast. We'll have it typed up too. Actually, it's up there right now. So just email me at dfederici.aft@gmail.com. And you can also visit us at America's Freedom Tribute.org, and our Facebook, America's Freedom Tribute. YouTube is America's Freedom Tribute-AFT, and that's where you'll find this podcasts in a day or two, plus all the other ones we've done. Tom is here for our number 17th podcast. And I do want to thank Tom for your service and for everything you're doing for other veterans. And I can't wait for him to be back and tell us more about his story, because he's got a lot to tell us. And again, this podcast is brought to you by Patriot Mobile, the phone service of America's Freedom Tribute. And to get that 1 month free, just put in AFT. And before we sign off completely, please keep our troops in your prayers along with their families. And let's hope everybody comes home soon. And thank you for listening. And remember, veterans' voices matter today and every day. So until next time.